Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Community Engagement Commission meeting, Wednesday, June 12th, 2024, at 6:00 p.m. Roll call. Commissioners, Aaron Asmuth.
Here.
Summer Darrow.
Here.
Bill Norman.
Here.
Mark Saba.
Here.
Arlene Fisher-Marr has another conflict and will not be able to make it tonight. And Cynthia Gamboni, I'm waiting to hear from her, and we'll consider her as unexcused until she comes.
I make a motion that we excuse Arlene from tonight's meeting.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Okay. Approvals. Agenda? Any modifications or revisions? I would just like to make a note on the agenda that probably much of our time, I'd like to focus on the 2025 work plan and budget tonight. Since we didn't have a special session, we decided at the last meeting, let's see if we can put it together with the June meeting.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Next, the minutes of the May 15th, 2024. Any modifications? Okay, make a motion to approve. Anybody?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, anybody can second it? Second?
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Minutes approved. City Hall update, handout. Any questions on the handout?
I got one.
Yes.
Number 2 is in city forum for 2025 budget. It was written, it looks like, or posted on the 31st of May. Did anyone in this room know about that?
I'm gonna.
You did?
I did.
I did not know about any of the posting or what we were doing or anything like that. I found out about it, went online, what's this? And I was just really surprised to see it. That I was a little upset that no one contacted us to let us know it was going to be posted.
Okay, so I think tonight, maybe David too, I can defer. We're going to go through a dry run on this. And
well, not during the meeting.
Not during the
After
meeting.
the meeting.
I'm sorry. After the meeting, we are. So I'd like to just clarify that.
But I would like to say is that we need a little bit more transparency when it comes to these type of things that are coming up.
Okay.
Because it happened before with the last survey. It was just thrown on our laps and we were never told, you know, this is the way it is. And I would just like to know a little ahead of time. So if I do have anyone that questions about, I can act a little bit more intelligent than saying, oh, that's just my personal opinion. So,
okay. So I just started to grab it or look through this. I talked a little bit with David, telling him a few of my comments on it. And I found out some things tonight working on it. And so I think after the meeting and after we adjourn, that's why David asked to bring the laptops. But David, can you add anything on to that?
I will first, I can provide some information on that, but Mark McAvoy, did you want to address any of that first before me?
No, David, go ahead and then I'll follow up.
May I just say, as a consumer here, that all of us can sign up to receive notifications about everything that's going on. And then that pushes to us information. I will say in this case, I only saw it because I have the habit of opening the city's website every couple of days. And I will also say that would seem to me to be an easy thing to have a distribution list that includes all of the volunteers and the city council, so that the boards and the commissions and the city council and the executives would get a heads up for things like this. Just to push email, that would be pretty simple.
Yes, this particular forum, it's one of the many ways we're using, Zen City beyond just a traditional survey. This is part of the ongoing process of the city's work, city staff's work in presenting the development of the budget. I think we're actually starting a little earlier this year than we did, at least the last couple of years I've been involved here. This is an initial step to get public general comments about what would you like to see in the budget. Is this the only step in the process? No, there will, I think, very likely, in fact, I'm not going to speak for the city administrator, but I'm guessing there will be a more of a survey type format later into the summer, similar to what we did last year. And this is just the initial part of getting feedback. We've had 9 responses so far. I've appreciated seeing the comments on there. And the way this forum works is people can like do a little thumbs up when they like somebody's comment. They can follow up on somebody's comment. And we're just seeing the very start of this in assisting the city staff work in developing the start of the budget process for fiscal year 2025. And Mark McAvoy, did you want to add to that?
I don't have anything to add, David. That's a perfect description. I guess I'm not understanding what the concern is.
So Mark was concerned that it went live, and as a member of a commission, he didn't know that it was going to go live. I think, did I represent you accurately?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, just would like to know when something like this goes live, can we get a heads up, like maybe a couple days ahead of time? That's all I'm asking.
I'm open to that. Mark McAvoy, any follow-up on that?
So if that is a if you want to create a mechanism where there's some kind of general advance notice of these kinds of things, I don't know what the lines would be, but is that everything? Is that certain things? There would need to be a little bit more definition, I think, surrounding that. But David, if that's a mechanism you want to put in place, I don't have any reason to say not to do that. That's your call.
Yeah, I'm open to that. I'll like you say, there has to be a line on that. Like, am I going to run everything I do as part of my job through?
No, I'm just talking like surveys,
Yeah.
surveys like this.
So you can
this is
inform the
the
public
second
about it.
time we haven't been informed about a survey ahead of time. And I just want it, that's all.
Yeah. we
No,
can do
I
that.
don't want to know every little thing. No, just surveys.
And this survey will be out. I think we've got it timed through October. I think it'll
Yeah,
still be out.
October 14th.
We're
or something.
very early in the process.
Okay. Okay.
And then afterwards, if anybody wants to stick around after the meeting, Robin has a laptop. I see a few other devices around, and I'm just curious to see, just from an observer standpoint, how other people are using the system. I'm not here to instruct or criticize, or you're not doing that right. I just want to know, how is this being used so we can address any difficulties that other users may be having with this. I've done that before in another job.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. So that'll be after we adjourn. Then we can play around with it. David asked me if I could bring a laptop, and I think other people have too. So we can see especially when we get out there in the farmer's market, or if we talk to a neighbor, how best to use this and how to do it. And then if we need to address if other means and methods need to be implemented so that the city can get other feedback.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
like the
sound
fact
right?
that for everybody else's information, Robin called me, was that yesterday, with some suggestions of additional ways we may want to consider reaching out to the public on this very topic. And that's part of what this group is here for, is to be the idea generators.
And I've got some ideas on that too, later on.
Okay, and that's what we'll,
More information to get out to the community and how we can engage more.
Mhm.
I got some ideas. So
okay, okay,
And just for everybody's information, yes, this will be a splash article next month. We did not have everything set up early enough in time to get the deadline for the June issue. But yeah, there will be a blurb on this for the next issue of Splash. And like I said, this is the initial open-ended question. There will be more coming throughout the summer and early fall.
okay.
Think
So-
of how we did this last year.
Yeah.
That'll be a good guide of what's going to happen this coming year.
Can I,
So,
can I
yeah,
just jump in just for
Yeah, yes, Aaron.
kind of piggyback on Mark's point and maybe something to consider for the other Mark. And David, as you're thinking through these pieces and thinking of a line in the sand, so to speak, as it relates to when to communicate things to the commission. My initial reaction would be looking at how this type of survey would be built into our planning process.
the
and I-
framework, the Aaron's framework.
Well, so the city's doing a thing related to the budget. That's awesome, obviously needed. We want to get public input. But if we're left off to the side for something like that, how can we support it? So we can't support that effectively if we're not involved on the front end of understanding what it is, understanding what the timeline is, how that's going to integrate with whatever else we have going on. So I understand Mark's point and the city's point, which is probably, hey, this is the path. This is our timeline. This is what we're doing. This is when we're going to implement it. We're just going to go forth. But if we as a commission are here to support the city, I don't see how we can do that effectively if we don't have communication about these types of things that we could effectively support the city on. How can we effectively support the city at the farmers markets the last couple of weeks with this information? What information could we have done ahead of time without the splash article and how to support that? So I think it's a broader discussion than just the individual issue of just saying, hey, a survey comes out and, give us a heads up. I would encourage it to be a more robust discussion about how do we work with, the timelines and the projects that would be community engagement related from the city, and how do we integrate that with our overall plan? Otherwise, it's just going to be a continuation of the hodgepodge of jump forth and go do. And that's not effective for anybody. It's not consistent. There's no, we're trying to put thought into things after the fact of something being created. It's the same issue that, in issues I brought forward with the previous surveys, which is if you want our input and feedback, that's awesome, but you got to bring us in further upstream in the timeline, not after the fact when something's already been done. So if we want to be engaged in that way, that's awesome. But if the city wants us as a commission to be more after the fact and just here go forth, then that's our defined role. But I feel like we could be more comprehensive as a commission if we actually were part of the planning process, which is what I thought was going to be the case. So Mark, I share your concerns and wants and desires to be engaged in that process more. So hopefully there's an opportunity to do that in the future. And even with this project, understand what that looks like and how we can support it more effectively.
Okay. So I wonder if we should, I know that we're going to go through like a little mini thing after we adjourn here with our laptops, but I wonder if that shouldn't be, we should also move this forward to continue talking about this in July's agenda. So I would like to move down and then put the requested items to, talk about whether it be surveys or the items.
How's a short way you can phrase that?
So well, okay, go ahead.
specific goal request.
Go ahead.
Just quickly, not to get us too far in that direction, but maybe this will help us get to that. If something requires engagement from the community, that's perhaps where we need to be asked earlier on. If something requires engagement. So this is something that requires engagement from the community. There are other things that are perhaps more announcements or things that we need to engage with the community. We want to engage them, et cetera. But the clear distinction, I would say, is something that needs or requires engagement. So that, I don't know, hopefully that, so for next meeting, I don't know.
I've got city involvement / role in city engagement projects.
Thank you. Move on.
Yeah, right.
That's a good way
Yeah.
to put it.
Yeah, and I think that that's that's a great way of phrasing that.
Delineation.
And it gives us the city and us then that defined criteria on what needed to go through Aaron's framework process.
Yeah.
I name it after you, Aaron, because you're the author of it. It was great. So
Still
that's
is
why-
great.
And so,
Great. Next meeting.
yeah,
And I'm just gonna throw out that I might have to ditch out on this meeting a little bit early, so. Bye. I'll make it as long as I can.
okay.
Thank you. Don't
Okay.
sign the budget without me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'd also like to ask, I'm just going to interject real quickly that Cynthia Gamboni asked to be excused. She got the dates mixed up and realized, oh, they did move it and I forgot. So if we
I
could,
make a motion that we excuse Cynthia
Gamboni,
from this meeting.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Farmers market updates. Anything there that anybody can add?
So I have had some things on my mind about farmers market. I think I want to be really careful about this. We are a volunteer group. Some of us not only have jobs, but are running our own businesses, which is, you know, exponentially more, as well as raising a family. And the demand that we've placed on ourselves for our presence at farmers market, I wonder how doable it is, and frankly, how valuable it is. And so is there a case to be made that says, if we spread this out among other commissions who have an interest in listening to the community? It was wonderful having Terry there from the library board. I think she liked being there and she was good.
She was very good.
But Parks and Art and Planning and Zoning and all of those things, if I think it would be a mistake for us to disappear. But at the same time, if we say we're going to have someone there, people there to cover 2 shifts of 2 hours every Saturday between now and the end of the market, I think we'll just frustrate ourselves and actually not achieve that.
Mhm.
So I wonder, I just would like us to think about what we're doing and how we might do that better. And
Can
not
I-
just feel that we've failed every time we.
Can I add something to this, Bill? I appreciate what you're saying, because last year, the mayor even told us that we don't have to be there every week. And the reason is, if there's weeks that there is nothing really going on to engage the community, then there's no need for us to be there, because they do have people in the booth to answer questions. And you get too many people in the booth, you get more than 2 people in that booth and it gets awfully crowded. And with things that are going on now, you have the Friends of the Library, our commission, and 2 city representatives. That's 4 people. That's a lot of people. And so Robin and I were talking about that yesterday, and I think it's time for us kind of, there's really nothing going on with our commission to back off and maybe do it twice a month instead of every week, that type of thing. And, you know, I'll run that past everybody and see what they think. But, you know, that's just something, just a thought that Robin and I were talking about yesterday. So
I will say that most of the time it's pleasant duty. It isn't like it's.
oh yeah, I know what you're
unpleasant to be
saying.
there.
I know what you're saying.
And-
Yes.
And just the opportunity to be there and talk to people, because
Mhm.
people have questions, whether it's about Costco coming in or what's in that
That's the big
spot of
one.
land right there, yes.
That's the big
And,
one.
And I think that there's some, I can't quantify this, but that there's someone there to engage with them is meaningful. This last week, we had two city councilors there, and Terry, and then Robin and I switched out. So there were four, and it was fine. It gave us someone to talk to when there was nobody else to talk to. So there was that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it did, so far this time of year, after noon, it starts going down fast at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll wait until this Saturday.
Oh,
You
with
got the garage
sale.
yard sale, you got the book sale. There ain't gonna be nobody there.
Well, aside from this upcoming week, I think one of my things, and I'm a terrible example because I'm right in the thick of things of not being able to participate as much as I could, but I came and visited briefly.
Yeah.
I think we have badges, stinking badges, I feel like we're tethered to this. We have this mentality that we're tethered to the booth, and we're an engagement commission. To me, as comfortable as somebody can be, if we're walking around and hear little snippets of things and want to direct them to the booth or engage in that way, I think that would be perhaps more valuable. So something along those lines for me feels a little more natural. And if they want to follow me back there, or if we want to meet there or do something, I feel like part of that where you're saying is pleasant duty. It feels like it's that, right? And that's why I'm not eager to sign up, because I'm like, I got a lot of things going on, and to stand there for 2 hours, I'm like, okay, well, I'll schedule that a little bit later when the summer picks up and I have a little bit of time. But right now I'm not that eager to do it. At the same time, I was eager to go and to talk to people and to stop by and do that. I think naturally that's why I'm on this commission. So maybe there's just a revisiting of what it looks like.
Sure. Food trucks
And,
are pretty good.
and maybe we don't, I remember sort of mentioning, we know that the busier time is basically sort of in that morning till about 11:30-ish.
I think it changes
Maybe.
as produce starts to appear, and the summer.
It's still, no, Bill, it's still the same. It's 11.
Maybe we
It's
don't.
9 to 11:30 because
Yeah.
everything's pretty well shopped out,
Yeah.
you know?
So, maybe we just do it from 9 to, or whatever we want, and then we just end it at like 11:30. Don't worry so much about that until the 1, and then only one of us just need to be there, or we can rotate in and out if we can. And something on that. So it's not 2 shifts like 9 to 11 and then 11 to 1.
Just one shift from 9 to 11.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Back to Bill's point on the other commissions, I guess
I love that.
I thought they were going to be involved this year.
Right, aren't they on the list?
I
Yeah, I thought they were
so
on
David,
the
I mean,
list,
right,
too.
so, but I mean, I think I 100% agree. And that was even the conversation we had last year, which was the other commissions should be present, because there is stuff, Parks and Arts had stuff going on with the basketball thing that was going on. Should have been a great chance for them to be able to showcase that with people that don't go to Pavilion Park, and talk about that. It was a, cool project that was completed. So I think I 100% agree. I think the other commissions should be part of that process. And I'd even had a side conversation with a commission member a while back, and they even said the same thing. They're like, well, why aren't we invited to participate? I'm like, well, let's invite them. I mean, it doesn't need to be the, 5, 6 of us
No,
you
yeah,
know,
I
trying to
agree.
figure it
That
out.
have to
I mean,
be, yeah. But just as long as that because we are the community engagement and, still stay present, and that we're out there.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it means we stop being present. I'm just saying, I think there's opportunity for other commissions to talk with the community about what they're doing, because I guarantee you, if they showed up at a farmer's market, Parks and Arts, or any of the other commissions, a lot of people would be like, I didn't even know there was a commission for that.
Yeah.
As a general citizen, I mean, they probably just don't know, and they don't know all of the good things that all of the commissions are doing to help support the city. Because there's a lot of good work going on, and they should be able to showcase and talk about it and share what's going on. So
So,
I just think it's
Just
an
as- just as
opportunity
a
as we
thought.
talk
Okay.
about farmers. I know we're getting down more than like 25 planning process, but solving the farmers market issue in the short term.
yeah, and I was going to ask about if we look at the short term versus the long term, can we just maybe think about one shift per Saturday? And then, David, maybe you could talk to the other people on the
They're on the,
I have
they're on the
some-
list. They get the.
I have some information points that could assist on this. This is very interesting timing because you are not the only people talking about this topic right now.
Okay.
A week ago, last Tuesday, one of the city council members brought up this very idea during council member comments about why can't we have some of the other commissioners involved with this, let people get to meet their planning commission members, let people get to meet their Parks and Arts Commission members. So when Bill emailed me about this idea last week, I said, did you watch the city council meeting? No, he didn't. Today, the library board met and they are interested in being on the list to be
Oh,
part of
good.
farmers market. The timing is very interesting here. It's like everything's coming together right now.
And
I would also throw out the idea of city council meets next Tuesday. You have the opportunity, if you want to be on the agenda, I've kind of penciled you in for now, just in case, to do your regular occasional update from the podium there. If somebody wanted to do a brief update about CEC and include this proposal next Tuesday, I'm not saying do it or don't do it. I'm just saying that's something that could be done.
I'll do it.
And you beat me to it, but I was gonna say, Summer will probably be here anyway to receive her certificate for
Oh, that's right.
for being in City Academy. I'm just throwing that out there too.
Wow. I missed the fire department, but that's all right. We did the rest of
So
them.
just information I'm sharing. I'm not telling you how to think one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
And
this is what we want, right?
and, yeah, the only thing I'm thinking, what he just, going off of Dave's coattail there. Okay. There's 3 commissions plus the library. Everyone works once a month. Has a 2-hour shift once a month. And you rotate it.
That'd be fine.
And as has been said, if there are specific periods of time when there is a specific engagement thing
Thing that
going
we
on,
need
then
will
it
be
could
there.
make sense.
Yeah,
for-
exactly. If
will
there are
be there.
specific things that, yes, then we need, because that is in our swim lane.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But the other thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and I'll bring it up right now, my idea, what I was talking about, where we can engage even more. And I'm getting off subject, but
Yeah.
but I think it's important. I think we ought to look at setting up a tent at events throughout the marketplace. Okay. And what I'm thinking of is out at Rocky Hills on Thursday nights. They have the food trucks come in. Okay. We can set up a tent with the food truck and engage with the community, get, outreach to the community, bring them up to this, here's the survey that we have going on. Do what we do at the farmer's market, but in a different avenue. We can have the city set up the tent for us, tear it down, set up the chairs, and just like they're setting up in the farmer's market. They can set up the city tent for us over at that park. If
When we
people are-
have certain items that we need to get
Yep.
that
Yep.
engagement from.
But
That's what I
it
say.
would be a different venue, if you will,
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
totally different audience.
and a totally different.
And a
yeah,
totally
you just
different
took the words right out of my
Yeah,
mouth.
it's
Yes.
just, it's, yeah.
So,
It's kind of tying into
Different demographic.
item B in a way, but.
so yeah, that's what I said,
Good
okay, let's
segue.
segue into that. So, and let's keep that on the requested items for the agenda also for July to talk about how we can increase our participatory
Presence.
presence at other events.
I mean, especially when they're not like the farmer's market.
Right.
The farmer's market.
4th of July.
4th of
stuff.
July, movies in the park. I mean, we've talked about all of these
There's another
things. I
one,
mean, there's
movies in
just,
the park.
there's so many easy ways to engage, especially on the family side of things, the family demographic that, yeah, they visit farmer's market, but if you go there with your kids, are you gonna go stop at the city booth? No, you're gonna hit your fruit and veggie vendors, you know, hit one of the
Food vendors, yeah.
food shops, or food trucks,
And
and
leave.
then you bounce.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, even
But-
us with kids, look how well we did with people
Terrible.
hanging on us
Oh,
while
yeah,
we were
great.
trying to, yeah, that's everybody else, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I think if we can meet them where they are in those types of events and venues. Even if we don't necessarily have something super exciting going on, it's still a different way to engage with them. I mean, if you talk about like the City Academy stuff, it would be a great topic to talk about with folks at the Thursday food truck things. You go there and maybe that's what you talk about from time is City Academy, you know, and what that means. And, you know, there's a captive audience of kids and parents and, you know, to be able to really have that conversation with them. So.
Yeah.
And it was one of our expectations and plans for 2024.
It actually was.
And it says CEC will continue to find outreach opportunities to get public involvement while building relationships with the community. So there's our segue into
Yep.
And let's go
completing
over,
everything that we had projected for 2024. That was the only thing we're missing.
here we are. Is it a good time to go into the 2025
Sure
work
is.
budget?
I
Okay,
think
let's
we're
go.
there.
Good, Nike.
And I'll just ask, Summer, how soon do you need to leave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. She likes us.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll see how engaging this is.
So,
I'm trying to get out of here before 7.
okay. Well, so let's look at we have to almost develop the work plan. See, we developed the 2024 work plan and we sort of went off of that to get to the budget and also to develop from there then the 2024 expectation and plans. So if we look at the 2024 expectation and plans, let's look at that first and see if that still is apparent and should we still roll that over into 2025? How do we modify it if we don't? And what do we want to change? So CEC will continue to be a prominent presence at events and venues as appropriate, including but not limited to farmers market and barefoot in the park.
I would include this year now that the 4th of July has become a big event. I would include the 4th of July.
Movies
Okay,
in the
so
park?
it should go,
Is movies in the park?
so we
Yeah.
should
You
put,
mentioned it, I'm just
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
so we should put farmers market, comma, barefoot in the park.
No, 4th of July,
4th
then
of-
barefoot.
Oh,
Well, it's already
sorry.
in there. I think 4th of July.
Yeah, I was gonna put that right after
Triangle
barefoot.
order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chronologically.
Okay.
I saw where your brain was
Yeah.
going with that one. I followed.
Okay, 4th of July event, okay, I'll get it.
We'll just add it, yeah.
Yes,
Just a note.
okay,
That was just a note for that one there.
Yeah.
you know, and barefoot in the park, and that's why I also,
Comma, et cetera.
Etc.
et cetera, comma, et cetera. And that's why that including but not limited to.
Mm. I just think that's so formal, like including blah, blah, et cetera. I don't know, limited to is like holding me to some sort of
Yeah,
contract
no,
of,
no, we
of
can't
where we
do that.
Well, you know, I can't, I'm sorry, I'm a planner by trade.
Here's why,
I'm
actually,
a
I think.
planner by
Here's
trade.
why I'm fighting for that verbiage, actually, because I think that it opens it up to thinking about what the other possibilities are. So that's why I'm going in the open-ended direction, so that our brains can think of more things that we would like to be at. When I hear the other thing, I don't continue to think of opportunities.
Okay,
Seriously though.
okay, I'm not fine, like
Yeah.
I said, I'm a planner by trade.
I
This
hear
is,
you. Yes,
this is off to
thank
mute.
goodness. Thank goodness you're.
So would we like to remove including but not limited to? And just put,
Etc.
and we just say, CEC will continue to be a prominent presence at events and
Like
venues
the-
such as.
Sure,
Okay, venues,
get there too.
such, we'll take that out and we'll go such as, is that okay?
Yeah, the farmer's market,
Such as a farmer's market,
4th of July
4th of
event.
July event, barefoot in the park, comma, etc.
Yeah,
Perfect. CEC will continue to find outreach opportunities.
Leave it in, definitely. will.
Okay, we'll just leave that in. Is everybody good with that?
Mhm, Yep.
Okay. CEC will continue semi-annual workshops. Now, on this one, I was thinking, do we need a semi-annual or just an annual?
semi-annual.
I still like a semi-annual.
I would agree.
Oh, okay, we'll leave it in as is. Is that okay
Yep.
with everybody,
Right.
that verbiage? CEC will develop the framework and processes for project requiring the CEC.
Let me throw in a phrasing suggestion on that. I would say, how is the workshop one currently phrased?
It says CEC
Semi-annual.
will continue semi-annual workshops with the city council to keep open communication and expectations
Okay.
between us.
Just knowing the way the city council sometimes needs to work, I would say something like to pursue semi-annual rather than make it sound like it will happen.
Okay,
It could very well happen that other things come up with city council, they can only fit you in once.
okay. So I will say there's
Pursue.
CEC will continue to pursue. And then is everything else
Yep.
workable for
Yeah.
everybody? Okay. And then CEC will develop the framework. How about CEC will develop framework and processes for projects requiring the CEC support and engagement?
We've already developed. the
Yeah.
framework.
It's already
we did.
been developed.
Oh, it's already been
Yes, it's
developed
done.
anyway. So we can
Scratch that
remove
one.
that.
Which one was that?
The last one.
If I would argue, maybe we don't completely, maybe it's about continuing to follow, to,
Follow through.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
CEC will
Checking things with our-
implement.
Yeah, there you
Okay, so
We'll
CEC
implement.
will continue,
go. Yeah, there you go.
what was that verbiage again? Will continue
uh,
to
ass-
Implement.
Thank you.
implement and execute.
And
Yeah.
the framework
and process for blah, 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 blah.
process.
Implement
for
and
projects.
execute.
For projects.
Yep.
Done
And-
by our fearless leader, Aaron Asmus.
Done, okay,
Don't-
done by our fearless leader. I got it. Okay.
I'll put that in there.
I know, I couldn't. So
Okay, we got that.
now we got the expectations and plans. Now working on that, then you got to go back to, in a way, the work plan. So that's the one that you got stricken out. I mean, we actually have done well and on that. So the workshop with the city council, the next one will be in October, but we did it, the last one in, what was it? June or May?
May, I feel like it was May. It wasn't June.
It was, look at our minutes.
Yeah,
right?
it was, yeah, you're right.
It was May.
Yeah,
It was May.
it was May.
Okay, so we'll say workshop with the CC, May and October.
It was May.
Okay.
What was May?
I feel like it was May.
When did we have the workshop? Our
With
first
Lisa?
Was it
workshop?
April?
With the city council?
Yes.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah,
That was,
Lisa.
no,
that
that
was
was back in
October.
March.
March?
I thought you
Okay,
meant Lisa, I'm sorry.
March.
That's what I was thinking, Lisa, too, yeah.
Okay, I'm all mixed up, sorry. So one thing that we did do is we did complete the framework final draft. And I don't think we do not need to continue that. Strategic plan outreach. That will not be, will we have another type of outreach, David, besides the strategic plan?
Mark McAvoy, where are we regarding outreach regarding current strategic plan?
Well, the outreach regarding the strategic plan is centered on the budget. So that's where the strategic planning outreach occurs.
Okay, would that be good to leave that in?
Leave it in there. I'd leave it in then.
That would be the current process right now, correct, Mark?
Right. We're
Board-
implementing the strategic plan through the budget. So that all of that engagement on and around and about the budget is about the strategic plan.
Okay,
You mean,
We will
you
leave
mean the
that in.
budget survey that you're doing? That's what you're talking about? Mark?
This part of it.
okay. So,
I was on mute. The execution of the strategic plan is done through the budget. So between now and when we develop the next strategic plan, all of the strategic plan focus is through the implementation of it by the budget or through the budget. So the budget process is the strategic plan engagement.
so.
You
why
can
don't we-
change the wording to say budget, but
Yeah, I was
no,
thinking,
that's
let's
fine.
just
That-
go the
okay.
budget process then.
Yeah.
The budget process outreach.
So really that's the process, or that's the engagement from our end, is trying to get people to engage in the budgeting process and provide feedback where applicable back to the city. Would that be
correct.
Mark? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So that's our marching orders on that one.
And Mark,
Okay.
this also tie into the 5 annual community satisfaction surveys.
Yeah, it's all part and parcel of the same process. We've adopted a plan. The budget executes it. The survey helps us validate it, but it all goes together. So
Okay, okay. Let's just then, if this is workable, Mark McAvoy, I should say Mark M. How about just budget process outreach? And then we can further, as we come up again on this, we can make more granular.
sure.
Okay.
Very flexible.
So yeah, let's make more flexible. So I do know of another project that's going to come up when I was in the last Friends of the Library meeting. They are going to ask for our engagement and help within the new library.
Library.
So I'm going to put that
Great.
Definitely.
within the, yes, for engagement with the new library. Now, they don't
Would
know.
that also include the police? Or
I
is that a
only
separate-
heard,
Or is that a separate entity? They're doing both buildings, or eventually doing both buildings. That's why I was just asking.
and I only heard that when they was the engagement of the new library at my last Friends meeting.
Okay.
So we will be involved in that.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that myself. That's probably more of a McAvoy question, but
Right.
the library itself is a more community-centered, community-involved facility than the police facility
That's
is.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking out loud.
So on this, we'll always have this work plan and budget special session. And I'm going to add work plan, comma, budget, comma, annual report session, special session.
Mark, can I ask you a quick question? And maybe this will help at least with us for 25, going back to the conversation we had a little bit earlier, is do you have in your planning process for 25 topics, projects, or other items that we can right now start even penciling in so that we can be prepared proactively on some of those items? Or is that something that you might have later on this summer that we can start those conversations on that kind of earlier timetable?
If you can, Aaron, repeat that question. I lost my screen and I was trying to get it back and I missed the first part of the question.
That's okay. You just committed about, lots of money to help us support us. So it's totally fine. Thanks.
All right.
So really, so the question was really looking at 25 for 2025. Do you have already even some penciled out items or areas, surveys, projects, whatever, where we would likely be or potentially be utilized to engage that we can start putting onto our 25 planning calendar so that we can make sure that we incorporate those as we're building this calendar out for 2025 a little bit more effectively, to help support those initiatives that you guys are either going to run, tentatively going to run, or even things that are, wish list items that may never come to fruition in the next, budgeted year.
Yeah, I would say that the things that immediately come to mind that I would include in that planning document would be, as David described earlier, there are going to be a series of things that we try to accomplish through the budget process. And whether we get to them this year, whether they're a pilot or something that is a full-fledged, piece of the engagement. And the one that I'm specifically thinking of is the budget simulator, which will be built inside of the ZenCity tool. That is a piece of the budget engagement that will be launching probably in the September timeframe, after the budget is actually presented to the mayor. Then looking forward, say, to next January, you've got the 2025 community satisfaction survey in whatever form that's going to take. And then the timeline, I'm less clear on these next two items, but they're probably sometime in 2025, which would include the new library project development, whatever the public engagement piece of that is going to look like. And then the same thing on the comprehensive plan. And there are multiple pieces of that will happen over the course of the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not one thing, right? It's not one engagement that happens one time. It's multiple things over the course of those 2 years. And Lisa will, if she hasn't done it already, define a more tight timeline for those things and when they're going to occur. And then the following January, 2026, you would have the 2026 community satisfaction survey going out. And then you just have this repetitive process, right? Where you've got the budget and the satisfaction survey and the budget and the satisfaction survey.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at is, if we can create a template calendar, so to speak, for 2025 that can be replicated in the subsequent years, knowing there would be modifications with either, a handful of items either coming in or out of whatever that calendar looks like, we can have a consistent expectation of what our engagement is going to look like, when it's going to fall, how it ties in with those city priorities that already exist. And then we can more effectively build tools and resources around those. So if we can build that template and allow that to help guide our budgeting process as a commission, knowing that it's mirroring and matching the city's needs, then we have a more robust case to go to the city council and say, these are the funds we need, because here's where we're tying into other things that the city's doing. And maybe the city's already got a budget for some of those items, but maybe there's other items that we would want to incorporate to support some of those tactics. I'll pick on the comp plan as an example. The city's got their thing. Maybe there's something we as a commission want to do to connect with the community and engage with the community on the comprehensive plan. And maybe we need some additional budget dollars to do that. Just, going back to the, the food trucks, maybe there's something we can do around that. So I think if we can have that template, I think it allows for an easier conversation on an annual basis, and allows for a consistent cadence of communication coming from us and knowing that it ties right back to the city and what they're doing.
And I would say too, that Lisa's comp plan spreadsheet situation that we saw was a great example of how to integrate us into city asks. I think that was the first time we were kind of at the table in some official way on paper.
I would agree.
And I think it was clear to us, and to Aaron's point, I think that would help us with budgeting things if we started to see ourselves in that way. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because eventually, whether it be the library or the comp plan, if however they choose to engage with us, we're gonna have our own little mini sort of community engagement plan that needs to be, of course, approved by all the stakeholders, Lisa and everybody, so that then we know what to do.
Mhm.
And that's just, we have to have that. I'm a planner.
Yeah. So Mark, I really appreciate that feedback. I think that helps us. And one of the things I will toss out to the group is I would be happy to pencil out and draft a calendar for our commission based on some of the things that we've kind of laid out here and some of the conversations we've had with Mark today, and then send that over to the city and see what other things they could potentially add on to that for us. And then maybe at the next meeting in July, have that discussion about, what that looks like and what makes sense and all that kind of stuff that goes with that for 25.
Okay, we
That'll
can
be-
add that on July then for the template.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep in mind, we're only in June now. This is the start of this discussion.
Yeah.
You've got some time to,
Yeah, we aren't finalized.
Yeah.
Develop this out.
No, at least get a draft, so at least we
Right.
can, is this going the right direction? Do we need to modify or change it, get feedback? And, I like an engaged process to be able to make sure that it's fitting the needs of the group, the city. And, if we can have it, and then obviously the goal of having it finalized by the time we need to present our plan back to the city, which is that August or September?
which,
When do we need to present our stuff to the city?
August,
end
Is
of
it August?
End of August.
Okay.
end of
So, yeah.
August.
So after.
So yeah, so we need a draft in July and then we can finalize it in August.
Yeah,
Okay,
there you go.
Yeah.
so
We have that for us next meeting?
Yeah, I'll draft up something and get you.
that'd be
some-
great.
I have a couple ideas on how to do
Thank you.
that, so.
Okay, I got your name down, Aaron, put that on the to-do list.
Gotta put it through your own framework. See if it
I
can.
Put it through my own
Could Could I bring something up real quick? Hold on, let me check something here. Hold on.
Yes, uh-huh.
I've
Something we might
canceled
wanna
my
look
upcoming
at.
plans.
Cancel my upcoming-
We
We were
might,
too
just
engaged.
keep this in mind for our August meeting, we might have to change it to a week earlier. Cause Aaron and I are out of town.
Yeah, I'll be gone the 21st.
So just something to keep in mind, if we
Oh.
wanna finalize this budget. I think
Well, we have to finalize, the budget, the work plan, and the annual report.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean, so
And
if we
so-
might wanna look at discussing at the next meeting, put down on your thing, changing the date for August's meeting to the 14th.
14th.
14th or 28th,
I just
or,
remembered that,
14th would give us more time for things.
yeah.
yeah,
In case, in case, there's something that we need to discuss further, we've got the 28th to pick up on it if we need
yeah.
2 weeks, just a thought.
Is that date open here? Do we know?
I'll have to check.
Okay.
It will
Okay.
be.
Okay, so
No one's here at 6
Yeah.
o'clock on Wednesday.
David will check. Perfect. Okay, on that one, I think we are gonna add that comprehensive plan development.
Mhm.
And do you think we'll be doing town hall meeting outreaches each year? Or is it just dependent on if the September town hall meeting is successful?
I'd keep it on.
I would.
You wouldn't?
No, I would. I would
Yeah,
agree.
I'd
Yeah,
keep it on.
I'd keep it on,
Okay.
yeah.
Because it's something that we haven't seen yet.
Okay,
You
leave
can
that.
always scrap it later.
It could be a big success, it could be a
And
giant
it could be a
failure.
giant- Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know, David, you're right.
My and Bill's fault.
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
It's Bill's fault, is that what you said?
Bill's
Well, you know what, but I also think I think how we grade success will be on how we do our public outreach on this.
Yeah.
And we
hinges on-
almost need like
Yeah.
a little mini plan, which I put there for next meeting. Requested items is we need to talk about the outreach for the town hall meeting.
Better.
It's all going to hinge on the quality of the crudité.
That's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna interrupt you and say I want, it's maybe a canapé, perhaps.
Okay.
I've been practicing carrying things.
Okay, good.
Um,
Bill.
So what are you serving? That's what I'm wanting.
Crudités.
Crudités.
Charcuterie.
Lots of
Yes.
charcuterie.
I also have in my mind that there are several other things that have at least been suggested. I think the city council is, I don't know if they feel they've adopted it or not, but these pop-up meetings that they want to do at events, and I'm not sure how to characterize them, but
Yeah,
we've
that
had it
came
in
up.
our notes.
Yeah, that came up, I feel like in March, February, March. I feel like it was early in
Either
the
more
year.
city council transparency events.
Was it late? Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah,
Either, is it either under transparency or just city council outreach?
All by way of saying it's more that, so certainly there's a focus on the town hall, but there's more stuff.
Mhm.
And I think that these other things are important to the city council also. There's an opportunity for them in twos and
I think so,
threes
yeah.
to be
It's the only
present.
place really they do it.
Okay. Yeah, well, we can put it under the umbrella of like the town hall
Sure.
public meetings.
Yeah,
No one, because we're gonna go to the budget next, knowing that we have to think it's could potentially go beyond, it could be these little pop-up meetings too.
Yeah, the pop-up meetings, I remember that conversation, and the concern I brought forward was, especially in an election year, having those turn into campaign stops. Yeah, and so I think if this was a non-election year for most of the members, non-issue, right? And you could create a format that is not turning it into what could appear to be that. But given the fact that it is an election year, it could very easily be construed as a campaign stop or even a quasi informal debate between candidates. I mean, I could just see it. I can see I can see the downfalls of doing it in an election cycle year
that
without
might be why
really-
we haven't.
yeah,
heard more.
without real good strategic bumpers on
Mhm.
how to navigate that without it turning into that,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wasn't suggesting that we take some ball. here
Right,
to
right. Oh, yeah,
create
yeah,
an
yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah.
We'll just sort of, though, umbrella it under the
Yeah,
town hall
Town hall.
public meetings. Okay. We'll leave it on because it'll help for the budget.
You have a date for that yet,
So then
Rob?
I'm sorry.
Do we have a
Date for the town hall?
town hall?
September 10th.
Yeah, that's what but no, I only heard September, but
It's very tentative. It's nothing set in stone on that right now.
Okay.
They're looking
Okay.
at the 10th-ish,
Yeah.
I thought.
17th-ish?
okay.
Um,
I'm gonna move on here. Special projects. Now I put parentheses video because we were talking about that. I would suggest to the group that we leave that on there. I think it's important that the CEC does have, we do all these projects for everybody else, but our project, one that we own. And so, yeah, the one example that I had for this year was the video. And then we allocate budget for it.
I agree with you. I think we ought to keep it on. Whether
And it
we
may
do
not
this
be
year, May not be able to do it this year, but,
But
but maybe we do. But something to focus on next year if we don't get it this year.
But I'm hopeful that we can, and that for the July agenda, we can put that on for special projects for the July agenda and start brainstorming.
Yeah, I still want to pitch that as we do any of our activities, we consider a video component. And that maybe
Yes.
that gets us acclimated to doing something like that instead of putting all of our eggs in one basket and trying to figure out some grandiose special project between things. So I would say, let's start thinking about different things that we can attach video to, whatever that looks like.
Perfect. Okay, budget. We have an idea of the work plan, and going back here, we have the items, and at the time that we did this, we had mailers and flyers and event supplies and media production. And then, so let's just start off with, how about mailers? It's the first item on the list. Are we still comfortable with mailers and that we're gonna need some budget to do some mailers on certain, whether it be town hall public meetings or the budget process outreach.
Absolutely. If anything, well, for example, the budget dialogue or multi-log that we're trying to generate now, I can't imagine us proceeding without doing some sort of mailer, because we have this whole audience that we've talked about from the beginning that won't find it on the internet because they're not looking there.
Mm-hmm.
So I see us using mailers fairly routinely. I'm not sure we've agreed yet on how targeted they should be or how blanketed they should be. But
And like our town hall meeting and any of that type of outreach, that's
Yeah.
a component to that.
I think we
We
would
need
be
to send out mailers for
dilatory if
that.
we didn't do mailers.
Okay, so let's look at the cost. Is this still adequate?
It's $5,000 per quarter. And it was based on dollar per mailing.
Mm-hmm.
And the
And
assumption that we go to every
So
house.
every house, which is about 5,000. So I'd leave it the way it is.
Okay, and then,
I'd leave the flyers too.
okay, and then let's look at the cost. Is that still adequate?
Yeah, that's what they charge. That's twice a year. That would be twice a year.
Okay,
And that's everything. Printing.
And they haven't updated their prices
I'll
for the,
check. Let me check.
just in
with,
case.
Yeah, let me check with the Splash and I'll get back to you.
if it's changed, if it's
Okay.
gone up.
Yep, I'll
okay, so
check.
I'm gonna put to do
Yep.
mark checks with Splash.
Yeah, that's a good point. Inflation has hit us.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm thinking even for mailers, inflation.
Well, okay, before we go any farther, has there been a increase in postage since our last?
Mm-hmm. I think either
So
they're
we
going
might
to,
wanna Address increasing increasing our mailing then, because there'll probably be another posting.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was some astronomical number that made a person as old as I am feel really shocked.
Yeah.
The new
The 64.
The new stamp
first
rate.
class.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, yeah. So, it's something that,
It's crazy.
let's, I'll look into that also. Let me look
Okay,
into the
Mark.
postage thing
Mark Saba,
and the Splash.
Mark Saba, okay.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
can't- it's not that far off. It's gonna be $1 a letter.
Yeah, I know.
Just a
Yeah,
mail.
you're right. It's gonna
Give
be
it another 5
ridiculous.
years.
I think event supplies, I think 5,000 is, especially if we're gonna start looking at doing other types of engagement. I mean, to other areas, we're gonna need supplies. We might need tents. We might need to rent something because we need to transport it someplace. So, I mean, if we're gonna, for example, start going to Rocky Hill, if we're gonna start going to the 4th of July celebrations, some of those supplies we might, or, transportation, we might need to rent.
Just, so first class stamp in July.
73 cents.
73 cents,
Yeah.
yep.
That's just crazy.
And it's crazy.
That is ridiculous. Post office is gonna price themselves right out of the marketplace.
Oh, yeah.
So that
Um,
might need a little twitch.
I'll be
Mhm.
curious to see how much it affects the bulk rates though.
Sure.
Because first class is one thing, right?
Mhm.
But if people continue to retract their, the only avenue, I mean, if you think about what do you get in the mail? It's anything that's
Garbage.
sent bulk rate.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not sent, first
Right.
class for the most part.
So you're looking at keeping art supplies at 5?
I put event supplies because if,
I'd
Would
say,
a
yeah.
credit
event
Taves fit in
supplies.
this?
yeah, I know, if we have to.
I wanted to be real clear about that.
Maybe a line item.
I mean,
Might need to double it.
we have those, yeah, we have, and I consider that though an event supply.
No,
here's-
that,
And
that,
Here's a
that
question
comes
I
the
have.
cost of the person who's sponsoring the thing, not us.
Okay,
does?
like the booth we have at Barefoot in the Park. Who pays for all the stuff for the kids to do?
I'm
that?
uncertain.
Yeah, see, is that in our budget now, or is that?
We just get handed
in the
down.
arts, or, I don't know.
We supplied everything.
Yeah.
I know it's not in the commission's budget.
It isn't?
It doesn't
is
come
that
out of-
through the
no.
city? Oh, okay, okay, I was just curious.
You mean like the painted
Markers.
rocks and
Painting the
stuff?
rocks, yeah.
No, that's not a. commission
Oh, okay,
budget.
never mind.
Does it come out of Parks and Arts?
It might.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay,
I was just curious, so.
I think community engagement does pay for the rocks though.
that's fair enough. Okay. We can pay for the rocks.
Down the river.
Multimedia production, and that really involves on special projects, and we were talking about that video component. Leave it at 5,000 or increase it?
I don't know.
I could argue we leave it or go up to 8 or something like that and make it multimedia production and special projects.
Okay, I like that. Up to 8. So is there anything else that we should add to the budget that is not on the list for the 2024 that we need to add to the list of 2025? I think
think
that,
I
okay,
don't think so.
okay, so Mark, you're gonna check on the splash,
Yep,
the mailers, and give us a number. Excellent. Any other upcoming opportunities?
Question, what's gonna happen with the notes? I think you took the detailed notes and everything, right?
Mhm.
Robin did,
Can
yeah.
I get a copy of that? How's that gonna be spread out?
Well, I'm going to do a draft copy of for the July of the annual report,
Okay,
the work plan, or the 2024 expectations plans, and the budgets.
And
So
then
that
That'll be
Aaron-
included in next month's meeting, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
and then Aaron is also making up a tentative list of
And then
potential
Aaron,
activities.
Build a calendar for us to work off of.
If it
And-
passes,
That's gonna be a
must
problem, yeah. And we'll just discuss, yeah.
Yeah.
Discuss
Mhm.
all avenues.
so that's my to do, not unless somebody else wants it.
No, you do fine.
Okay. Well, I mean, I, you know,
Put up at the next meeting to talk to them about the farmer's market.
yeah, I have the template of this on my
We're not worried.
computer.
We look
so-
worried?
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you guys don't. Okay. Okay.
Easy concern. Oh.
Um,
all right.
Are there upcoming opportunities that we have not discussed? I think
I wasn't totally sure who was planning to update city council next week.
Marcos, right?
I can't.
Mark was.
In answer to that question, I do think that the calendar that Aaron is gonna build is gonna lead us to the answer to that question. Other opportunities that we haven't
Oh,
discussed.
yeah.
Yeah, that will lead us.
You're right, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pieces that I jotted down based on our conversation today will help build
Yeah,
the shell of it, and then we can just work on filling it in.
yeah.
The one question I had for you guys is there a format from a document standpoint that you'd feel most comfortable viewing and or working in? So Excel, Word.
Well, Excel.
Yeah, Excel.
I'm a spreadsheet person.
Okay. Yeah,
The,
or other, if you have another,
What's other?
there's
PowerPoint?
not PowerPoint. No,
Um,
no, not gonna go there. Not gonna go there.
I didn't know if there was any other after that.
great.
Excel works.
Excel.
Yeah,
Okay.
Excel.
Is that good for you? Okay, Excel.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else before we move on to number 6?
What's number 6?
Okay, any public comments in the audience or online?
Nope,
Okay, the next meeting
July 17th?
is July the 17th. Any issues with July 17th?
Just a minute, let me look.
I most likely will not be able to be in attendance on that July 17th. I'll do what I can to be there, but I can't guarantee it.
I'm just gonna phone in your framework.
Might have to phone in a framework.
We're here for it.
Is it good for everybody else, the 17th, or,
Yep,
okay,
It's
okay,
With me,
okay. And,
go see BTO the next following week.
all right.
Oh my gosh.
So I think that you have the requested items for the agenda. Did you get those, David? Or did you want me to just go through the list?
Go
of-
through them because some of them I wasn't quite sure.
Okay, so it's the outreach for the town hall meeting. And how does that process look? We need to talk about special projects, video. And then we're going to talk about the survey items that needs or required engagement. And that's the survey that we're doing now. Template on the calendar, that's the draft. Aaron's got that. Changing the date for the August meeting, I believe it was to the 14th. And then we'll discuss the draft annual report, work plan, and budget.
Is the current meeting scheduled for the 21st?
Yes.
Okay, anything other items? Okay. Okay, with that, after we adjourn the meeting, then we'll go through, we all brought our laptops and David will take us through an exercise on how best to have that access to that survey.
It's too bad Summer had to leave early.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen,
It
you
is-
hit that gavel, I'm out of here.
Okay, so if there's not anything else,
Meeting.
we'll
adjourned.
adjourn the meeting if there's not anything else, okay?
Yep.
I don't hear anything, meeting adjourned.
David, what's the password to get on?
I wanted you